tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. I tried to get here morning time, but yeah. In fact, I'm 4 minutes late as it is, but it's Sunday, so thanks for giving me a little bit of leeway. Every now and again, I go down to the local church and run the sound. My friend, Pastor Marcia, she's the pastor. She's out of town right now, but the guy, Tom, that runs it, asked me to fill in for him today so he can go camping and fishing. And I'm like, I can do that. Still screwed it up a little bit. I'll get it figured out one day. All right. I had cheat sheets, so that helped. I kind of know what I'm doing. It was the Zoom portion, and I don't know why they're setting up all this other stuff. They're adding another computer, an Apple computer, to do the Zoom, and yeah, you've got a computer sitting right there. It's already hooked up to everything. Not only that, but then you can control the camera. There's more stuff to play with. So what I do, because they just have the camera and then, you're looking at everybody. I zoom in and out. So if the pastor's talking, I zoom on the pastor. If they're playing a song, then I focus it on the person playing the keyboards, and and I pass the microphone around every now and again, ask for prayers and let people know about positive stuff going on. I zoom in on them while they're talking. There ain't a little bit spoiled me doing it. Good afternoon, Heather. Barely afternoon. Anyway, here it's barely afternoon. Oh man, had fun with my power washer yesterday. Like I have like half of a portion done, and now it's just it's bugging me. It needs to be completed. Looks a lot better. I didn't realize how dirty it was. Yeah. So there's something about it. I don't know. But we're going to do spiritual experience today. I believe it's on page 567 in the big book. Let me make sure that, 567. I get that in 562 mixed up. That's where the traditions are at. In case you were asked to do the tradition and you can't find your 12 by 12, it is in the big book on page 562. The knowledge of a big book thumper. What is a big book thumper? Let's see what AI says a big book thumper is. I'm just curious because I'm a big book thumper. In AA, who is considered a big book thumper? Is a term used to describe someone who is seen as overly focused on the literal interpretation of application of the big book and its teaching, sometimes to the exclusion of other important aspects. That's not right, though. That's not true. No, don't winch your hands with a power washer, Heather. And nothing can take off your freaking fingers, silly. All right. So it says, I'm a big book thumper, so I don't really like what it's saying. It's saying literal interpretation, rigid adherence to the steps, potential for judgment. Not all thumpers are the same. It's someone who takes a big book very literally. It's directions, man. Do I take it literally? No. Okay, I'm going to tell you what a big book thumper is, because clearly AI just goes out and pulls all the information to things people have said. That's AI's job. So that means there's articles out there that are talking about what a big book thumper is, and they're incorrect. They just want a name call here. So what is a big book thumper? It is somebody that pretty much knows the big book inside and out is somebody that can tell you where this is or where that's at, or they'll refer to the big book. Now, that doesn't mean I'm closed-minded. I was just at church writing the sound. If I wanted to be closed-minded, I wouldn't go to church. You think I don't see other interpretations? Yeah, no, I appreciate that at all. Right. Most big book thumpers actually have dyslexia. It's a memorization of the big book. I just know where everything's at. Right. Now, do I look for my answers in the big book? Yes, I do. It seems to work for me. Okay. But if you want to do it a different way, you go ahead. I ain't gonna fucking follow you around and do that. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm your host. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching live or the rewatch. The Broncos tore it up last night, 27-7. Go Broncos. Everybody's like, it's only a preseason, yeah, but man, our team's looking, well, everybody but our first string, which is the one that counts. Who says, I attempted the last time I washed my vehicle. I learned, leave it at that. The power of words. Yeah. All right. So we're going to get into the spiritual experience here. Page 567. The terms spiritual experience and spiritual awakening are used many times in this book. Upon careful reading, shows that the personality change sufficient to bring about recovery from alcoholism has manifested itself among us in many different forms. There's as many interpretations of God as there are people in the program. You're different. We're a lot alike. Sure we are, but you're also kind of different. Your perception may be a little different. Maybe your life experiences, maybe you grew up and your parents were militant religious people. Yeah. Like, hey, if you do that, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. You're going, man, I can't do anything. According to all them, I'm going to hell. There's nothing for me. I would have to say, thank God for purgatory. Which isn't necessarily good either. All right. So it has manifested itself in many different forms. A lot of different words for God. All right. But it's your conception. I was just talking to some people at the church about this because I want to do our Saturday night speaker meetings. I want them to be hybrid at this church because I know how to run the sound. And they got a cool camera I could play with. All right. It's just a reason to get people in person and together on a Saturday at 5 o'clock to, why not? If we can pull it off. So, all right. Yet it is true that our first printing gave many readers the impression that these personality changes or religious experiences must be in the nature of sudden and spectacular upheavals. Happily for everyone, this conclusion is erroneous. I think they did that to get people excited. Okay. Now, the program, give me a second, I'm going to get a back scratcher. So the way I see it is the program was divinely inspired, right? And Bill needed a sudden upheaval. That's who they're talking about, really, is Bill W. He had a very sudden spiritual experience and changes and upheavals of emotions and a new set of morals and things like that, right? I think in that case it kind of needed to happen. God has his reasons. Because I don't know that it's necessarily up to us. It might be a combination. Maybe we're just, like his door of willingness just flung right open. Mine inched open, not even inches, like a quarter inch. then maybe another eighth. And it was a slow process. Okay. But once the door was open, light could start coming through. So it may have started out with a little bit of light, but that's what I was comfortable with. My eyes needed to adjust because I've been living in the dark for a very long time. So my eyes needed to adjust, right? So the key of willingness is what really starts these spiritual experiences. Now I say that it might depend because number one, I'm not totally sure. And number two, I know that I'm the only person that keeps me from the sunlight of the spirit. So therefore, I have control over the door of willingness. Nobody else does. Even God has no control over my door of willingness. I have to do it. So maybe it's because God decided that it was going to be that way, or was it because we're doing it as comfortably as we can without being, because it's already uncomfortable, right? Now, nothing very comforting in the beginning there, as far as growing. So, in the first few chapters, a number of sudden revolutionary changes are described. Though it was not our intention to create such an impression, many alcoholics nevertheless conclude that in order to recover, they must acquire an immediate and overwhelming God consciousness, followed at once by a vast change in feeling and outlook. Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you on that. I like my educational variety. I appreciate it more. Now, there are times when sudden things suddenly change on me too. It happens. Now, these aren't necessarily spiritual experiences in the sense that it's a spiritual experience as much as it is, I would say, a growing spurt. You know, is it spiritual? It's still spiritual and it's still an experience. All right. Now, the neat thing about spiritual experiences, you don't have just one. No. I've been up since when did I get up? About 8:45. I've had 2 or 3 spiritual experiences today already. Already, I've had them because I have an open mind. I can see things. I can, I take care of things. Right. So a vast change in feeling and outlook. Among our rapidly growing membership of thousands of alcoholics, such transformations, though frequent, are by no means the rule. Most of our experiences are what the psychologist William James calls the educational variety because they develop slowly over a period of time. I'm going to mute for just 1 second. All right. I didn't think you'd want to hear my smoker's cough. Quite often, the friends of the newcomer are aware of the difference long before he is himself. You're the last person that's probably going to see the change in you. You're going to be one of the last people to get it. Okay. Do not let people come into these rooms and you've gotten to know them a little bit and they're having a hard day and you just let them sit there and flounder around, flip around like a fish out of water. God's sakes, go over there and give some encouragement. You know how hard it is. The first thing that I give anybody that walks into the program, new or not, is respect. You're like, respect is earned. Now, trust is earned for me. Respect is, it comes in different, well, trust comes in different, levels too. But what am I respecting? I'm respecting the fact that they had enough courage to come in and say, I need help. What more do we need? And I can give encouragement on that. Well, good job, man, because I know how hard it is to walk in there. I walk in here like really hard. Like really, really hard. All right. So we can give respect for that. Even if they don't want to be there willingly. They They don't have to go. Well, I'm not, I'm here because somebody forced me. Oh, everybody was. Yeah, I was too. Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. Then I found out I was wrong about some things, and see, I'm already, you know, we got a deal in hope here. So when somebody's having a hard time, you're an alcoholic. You can see where they've been growing. You judgmental alcoholic, you can see it. Judgment isn't always bad. Okay, you see it. Go tell them. Especially when somebody comes in from a slip. I had a slip. Talk about progress. Oh, you came back? That's progress. Good job. You didn't lose everything. You didn't just lose the last 6 months. Maybe you have to reset your date, but you still earned those 6 months. You did. Still viable. Absolutely it is. We just starting our date over. Right. Sometimes I wish we didn't have to, man. But it is what it is. He finally realizes he has undergone a profound alteration in his reaction to life, that such a change could hardly have been brought about by himself alone. What often takes place in a few months could seldom have been accomplished by years of self-discipline. Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 steps are what I call a catalyst. It makes things happen quicker. You can go to years and years and years of therapy and not get what you will get out of Alcoholics Anonymous in a few months. Now, if you combine these things, even better. I find that most alcoholics need therapy. Yeah. Oh, I don't need it. I'm good. You better face those snakes. Because I'm going to tell you something. You ain't going to get away with nothing in this world, and you got two options. You can either willingly face those snakes, or you can wait until you're 50 years old and have your first anxiety attack in King Supers at the grocery store and go through your trauma through PTSD. You could do it one of two ways. I did it the second way, and I do not recommend it. I do not recommend going that route. Right? So AA will make happen quicker. And why is that? Okay, when you go to a therapist, do they say, hey, we need to work on your spiritual malady first? No. Unless it's a Christian counselor, then they might. But for the most part, they're not even going to bring up God because they don't know where you stand. Where AA works on the spiritual malady first. And I've found that we work on the spiritual malady, everything else falls into place. It happened for me, and I've seen it happen for hundreds and thousands of alcoholics. Thousands! I've also watched thousands of alcoholics not do it that way and go back out. I've seen that also. It's no wonder I'm a big book thumper. Saying they're closed-minded and stuff. God, it irritates me. It'll change eventually. They'll get it right. With few exceptions, our members find they have tapped an unsuspecting inner resource which they presently identify with their own conception of a power greater than themselves. An unsuspecting inner resource. I'm the only one that can cut me off from the sunlight of the Spirit. I'm the one that closes the door of willing. Remember, I'm the only one with any power over it. God can't touch it. As a sponsor, I can lead you to the door. I can show you where the key is at. I can show you how to put the key in the lock. I can show you how to turn it and unlock it. I can show you how to open the door, but I can't do it. I can't physically do it for you. You have got to do it for yourself. This is a pivotal moment when we decide that, we got sober for our wife and kids or husbands or because of this or because of that. But now we discover that recovery is what we really want. And this is the pivotal point in which we find that out. It is the door of willingness and how willing you are to open that door. And it doesn't need to be opened very far. Like I said, You've been standing in the dark forever. Do it a little bit at a time so that your eyes get used to the light again. It's okay. That is the process which most of the people in Alcoholics Anonymous go through. Most of us think this awareness of a power greater than ourselves is the essence of a spiritual experience. Our more religious members call it God consciousness. I don't know, I've never really heard people, I've never heard that. Just, yeah. See, I didn't agree with the big book. Look at that. Right? More religious members call it God consciousness. I have God consciousness. I'm not religious. Does God talk directly to me? No. But I can hear and see him. Like I said earlier, I've been up since 8:30 and I've already had 2 or 3 spiritual experiences. It's God consciousness. I can see God working in other people's lives. Didn't happen in my life. It was other people's lives that I was seeing. Oh, God's working in their life. That's awesome. That's awesome. Most emphatically, we wish to say that any alcoholic capable of honestly facing his problems in the light of our experience can recover, provided he does not close his mind to all spiritual concepts. He can only be defeated by an attitude of intolerance or belligerent denial. Belligerent denial. The belligerent denial means you're going out of your way. That's what that means. See, not of all of our denial were we aware of. This one we're aware of. Okay? It's when we go out of our way to not see other concepts. We must see where religious people are right. Not all religious people are bad. Not all, quit picking out the bad apples. Not only that, but when I hear people in the program put down religion, what I know is this: you ain't got God in your life yet. Not to the extent that you need it. Now, there's also there's bad apples everywhere. So what are we going to focus on? See, we're still working with the alcoholic mind. So what are we trying to do here? Well, we're trying to see the forest for the trees, darn it. All right. Most emphatically, we find that no one need have difficulty with the spirituality of program. Willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness are the essentials of recovery, but these are indispensable. That means that it doesn't run out, but we're going to go look up that word anyway. Indispensable. Absolutely necessary. To absolutely necessary, essential, or vital. Someone or something that cannot be done without. So, not only does it run out, but it is necessary. So, what they're saying is willingness, honesty, open-mindedness are the essentials right there, essential of recovery. All right. So, we need them. Without these 3 things, you're not going to get very far in what we're trying to do here. All right. Now we're going to do a quick quote here by Herbert Spencer. There is a principle, which is a bar against all information, which is proof against all arguments, which cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. That principle is contempt prior to investigation. You remember when you were a kid and your parents were like, try it. Well, I don't like it. You haven't even tried it yet. How do you know? Because I know I don't like it. And then you eat it, you're like, oh, well, it doesn't taste like it smelled. I do kind of like this. See? And you wouldn't have known unless you tried it. There's a lot of examples where people they don't even try it, but they want to speak on it. You don't get to do that until you've done it. Example, being a leader means that you never tell somebody what to do or how to do it unless you have done it yourself. You cannot transmit something you do not have. Right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. and have a day.